The Supreme Court issued a major ruling on race and relations today, elections.
In a 6-3 vote, the justices struck down Louisiana's congressional district map on the basis that one district was illegally drawn based on race. Fox 4's Shaun Rabb talked with a constitutional attorney about the court's actions and its impact on congressional representation.
David, first, let's talk about what the court did, and then we'll talk about the expanded impact of that.
Sure. This came out of Louisiana, and they had, I think there's 6 congressional districts in Louisiana, and there was a dispute over whether or not Louisiana needed one more district to ensure fair representation for minority voters in that state. The Supreme Court essentially agreed with the lower court and said, this just goes a step too far. There's too much race here. We need to go back to other principles, and this is not an appropriate way to design a district.
The ruling by the Supreme Court literally removes protections, if you will, or provisions to ensure that there's minority representation in Congress, yes?
It changes the test. And by changing the test, that has a profound impact on whether or not you can show the need for an additional minority district.
This ruling today comes just a couple of days after the Supreme Court said the redistricting maps drawn in Texas are okay, which, again, those were based on literally political parties and the number of people who won.
The law's settled that you can put districts together, you can draw district lines based on political considerations. That's legit. One of the many things on the list of what you have to prove to establish a voting rights case now is that there's that the situation you're complaining about involves race and not politics, even though the Democratic Party tends to get more minority support than the Republican Party does. You have to separate that out. And simply showing that a whole bunch of Democrats vote one way in this district and Republicans another way is not enough. You have statistically to go beyond that and point to something that's unique to race, which, of course, is a very difficult burden to satisfy. And that relates directly to what was going on in Texas.
And the power of the Voting Rights Act certainly limited by today's actions as well.
No question about that.
All right, David Cole, my friend, thank you. Always great to have you and your insight.
Happy to lend a hand.
So the president and conservative groups are applauding the ruling by the high court today. Meantime, liberal voices call it appalling. What this could do, the court's decision could really greenlight red states to redraw congressional maps. Now, some conservative states like Tennessee, some leaders there, though, caution this is not the right time to do that because, primaries in many states are about to happen. They've already passed in other states, midterm elections right down the road. I think we begin to see the impact of this the next general election in 2028. By then, Republicans could replace more than a dozen Democratic-held House districts that were previously protected under the Voting Rights Act, but they could be redrawn. The so-called majority-minority districts would eliminate those seats, those voices in Congress.